fought on a few Chris Aston shows, and Chris told us when we contacted him, yeah, he's talented, he's good to watch, but he's a little bit untested, and the question comes how good that flashy footwork looks when something is really coming back at him.
It's a fair comment, isn't it? He seems to have a bit of skill and a bit of talent about him. He can switch it. We've already seen him switch to southpaw and use his jab well. Yeah, that solid jab. It's going to be difficult to get through that tight guard of Jamie Quinn.
Quinn last fought 17 days ago on an MTK show. Went the distance against James McGiven, a points defeat. As Richard told you, only those 3 stoppage losses in more than 103 professional defeats. So, yeah, he's a journeyman, and he usually finds himself on the losing side, but he is tough and durable, and like all journeymen, he knows his way around a boxing ring.
I was looking at his record earlier, John. This is his 6th fight this year, and 26 contests in 2019, so this guy is busy. He keeps, you know, when he's boxing, obviously keeps him very, very fit, durable, got a good chin. He's been in with some quality opponents, so it's a good test for young Jahanzeb.
Jahanzeb last fought in March when he had a 6-round points win against Brett Fido, another vastly experienced journeyman. Not able to really dominate Quinn so far. That's a good body shot, though. Last scoring punch of the opening round.
Bet365. Everything you'll ever need to bet on sport. Match live. Bet builder. Alerts. Live streaming. But don't just take our word for it. See for yourself at the world's favourite online betting company. Please, gamble responsibly.
Got our 2 big fights coming up after this one. Mark Heffron against Denzel Bentley, official eliminator for the British middleweight title, and the return of Anthony Yard against Dex Spellman. Here, undefeated Bradford man Amin Jahanzeb taking that opening round against Jamie Quinn, but Quinn not in any sort of real problem.
No, probably the best shot of the round was the body shot right at the end of the round, John, I would say, from Jahanzeb. It's a good punch, and if you look at the way Jamie Quinn's boxing, he's keeping that guard nice and high, so I think Jahanzeb may need to feint to the head and then whip them body shots downstairs, try to bring those hands down. Quinn's got a good guard, well balanced. It's a hard guard to get through and pierce, so maybe, like I say, body shots to bring those elbows and those arms down.
Sometimes with these flashy looking fighters, the real test comes with the step up in class. I remember a few years ago there was a guy from Bradford called Nadeem Sadiq who was very, very flashy fighter, but he just got found out that little bit when he tried to step up to championship level.
It's a fair point, John. I think when you've got a guy who's got this similar sort of style in terms of his low hand, very relaxed. When you're boxing opponents, when you're getting away, when you're making mistakes and you're getting away with it, it's when you step up to the higher class and you make those same mistakes, you don't get away with it, you see. You've got to have lightning reflexes when you're boxing like this with your hands so low.
Quick feet, though.
Yeah, it's decent.
Complaining momentarily he was hit low there. Referee presumably didn't agree because Marcus McDonald said nothing about it.
showing a bit of talent there, boxing as an orthodox, and then quickly just changed his feet into the southpaw stance.
Quinn not showing too many aggressive intentions. Devil Child is nickname. An intimidating nickname.
Yeah, strange on that.
Jahanzeb just there's a bit of talking between the two and a bit of showmanship and showboating from Jahanzeb, and Marcus McDonald telling the two of them just to cut it out to move into the final stages of the second round. Jahanzeb on Rich's card taking the opener, and we'll find out how he scored this one in just a second or two after this break.
Sit down, sit down.
Ensuring client meetings stay running is a priority for any business.
Hi, David. I'm afraid he's going to have to cancel. We are really sorry.
You need to be available at all times.
Hi, James. No need to cancel the meeting. We've arranged a video call using HiHi. You'll receive a link shortly.
Okay, brilliant.
With HiHi, you can set up face-to-face meetings wherever, whenever. Never miss an opportunity, never miss a meeting.
Hi.
Visit hihi.co.uk.
Welcome back to Your Call. Undefeated Amin Jahanzeb from Bradford up against the vastly experienced journeyman Jamie Quinn. How did you score that second, Richie?
Another round for Jahanzeb there. Yeah, he's 2 rounds up. He's actually boxing better for me as a southpaw. Quinn runs up right hand over the top. When Jahanzeb is an orthodox boxer, so when he southpaws Jahanzeb, yeah, he's quite awkward.
How much power he has, we find it difficult to gauge from what we've seen so far in this. I know there's a lot of people who watch the boxing who like to see the big punches, like to see spectacular knockout victories, but there are also people who watch who like to see fluid movement and flashy boxing skills, and Jahanzeb would seem to have a little bit of that. It's a nice shot.
I think he boxes. He's got a bit of skill in both stances, Jahanzeb.
And a bit of Mickey
flashy,
taking.
yeah, a bit flashy as well.
Shades of Billy Joe Saunders against David Lemieux. That was the most famous example of that, I think, wasn't it? Where Lemieux wound up putting a big right hand somewhere into row Z, and Billy made the most of it.
A great display that was for Billy Joe Saunders.
That was Saunders at his best so far.
Yeah, tremendous.
A little bit of chat going on in there again. Jahanzeb, he's a natural, what's the word to say, Mickey taker. I don't know if Marcus can actually hear me as I said that, but he said, let's just cut that out.
It's good work from Jahanzeb, but what he's got to do now, John, is probably throw a few more combinations. It's a lot of single shots that he's throwing, so he needs to double them up a little bit. That's a little bit better. 2s and 3s maybe, and put Quinn under a little bit more pressure. Quinn with that high guard. Then he seems to be handling the single shots. So maybe Jahanzeb has got to start putting punches together like that. 2s, 3s, 4s maybe.
Certainly a good left hook that he landed. landed there. You could hear it thwack home into the target area underneath the elbows of Quinn. Just keeping that high guard, as Richie telling you. There again, aiming the left hook into the body. That looks a quality shot, and again, complaint from Quinn that it was too low, but I don't think it was.
Just going through the gears there.
Well, one certainly landed after the bell there. Marcus McDonald telling him to keep the action clean. Some good body shots, but a bit of frustration maybe coming there.
A little bit of frustration, yeah. Certainly a couple after the bell there, this man. But another dominant round for him, John. Take a look at the action here. So Quinn trying to land with a double jab. Misses with the right hand also. There's Johansson just making the point that's totally missed him. Switching to southpaw there. Works well with his jab. So I'd like to see more combinations.
And that's where he got told off for one or two of the words he was putting in, coming in on the back end of a sort of a semi-alley shuffle. Maybe I'm building that up a little bit too much. Fancy footwork, though. Let's leave it at that as we move into round 4. All going to Jahanzeb so far. Nice body shot from Quinn. And then told, don't use your elbow. Well, Jahanzeb having to go through the rounds here. 6-rounder and looking very much as though it's going to go the distance. And again, as we've seen in earlier fights in his career, some nice boxing skills, but he's not really had a huge amount coming back at him.
No, he seems to have a bit of talent, doesn't he? Orthodox and southpaw, keeps switching. Going through the gears, but with Quinn, tight guard, difficult to get through that guard. And that really is the test now for Johansson. He's probably waiting occasionally a little bit too long.
Well, he's trying to goad Quinn, isn't he? He's standing there with his gloves low, trying to invite him to have a go. But Quinn doesn't want to know. With an opponent like this, what do you want to? Would you ideally like to see Johansson just getting in there and gambling just a wee bit more, Richie, really going for it?
No, if I was in his corner, I'd just be telling him to go through the gears. He's doing the right thing. He's boxing fairly comfortably. He's winning the contest, but to add a little bit more excitement, he needs to throw more shots. He needs to throw more combinations.
Got an opponent like this, what do you want to, would you ideally like to see?
Cross, now Tamina looking to put Nikki away. With a Samoan drop, Nikki able to slide from behind though. Tamina wants the super kick. Great counter.
Telling him to go through the gears.
Move on.
Doing the right thing. A little bit more excitement. He needs to throw more shots.
Into the 5th round, 4 rounds out of 4 for Jahanzeb.
Yeah, I would say so, John.
Marcus McDonald, the referee, is the man who'll be scoring this one. Talent around the featherweight and super featherweight divisions in Britain right now, though. Jahanzeb will have big tests ahead if he continues to progress and if he continues to extend this undefeated record. Do you like the footwork? Do you like the balance?
I think he's got a bit of talent, Jahanzeb. Yeah. He's a little bit relaxed here and there, but he's that type of boxer, isn't he? No hands, throw shots from different angles. He can switch it, and I think he boxes well as a southpaw also. So yeah, he's got plenty to work with.
Like this,
coaching him.
Would you ideally like to see? He has got terrific reflexes. Would you, if you were his coach, would be saying, well, maybe just think about a slightly tighter defence?
I think John doing the right thing. He's boxing fairly. He's the type of boxer that he throws like shots from different angles, and he's a reactive combinations. Try and force a stoppage. His problem is going to be when he holds his feet and his hands a little bit too low, like his left hand here. When he's actually in punching range, his left hand is very low,
which leaves him vulnerable.
Yeah. And as he climbs up the ladder and boxes better opposition, then yeah, he will get caught here and there.
I remember 25 years ago there was a young featherweight called Nazim Hamed who used to throw from some fairly unorthodox angles.
But his reactions, John, were unbelievable.
Absolutely, but people always said, yeah, but he's going to get caught sooner or later. But it was kind of that vulnerability which made him so exciting and such a draw.
Well, there's not many that put it on him though.
Well, it took me to go all the way to Marco Antonio Barrera, didn't we?
You know, when you go back further, the great Harold Graham, for me, he was unbelievable, that style of boxing.
Kirkland Lang.
But Harold was phenomenal. I remember sparring him when he was 38 and he was just a wizard. He couldn't land a glove on him. What he was like at 25.
38, he still nearly beat a prime Charles Brewer. Come down just saying, oh sorry, I almost threw one after the bell, but I didn't connect, so awfully sorry. But Marcus McDonald still having a word. Keep fit, have gloves, will travel. If that phone rings, get in the car and go.
Just a few hours. What boxing's all about.
And final round.
People sometimes say, well, you know, what's it about? Somebody who's a professional that's been beaten 103 times. Well, what it's about is a young fighter being put through his paces in a competitive environment, in a real fight, and having to show and learn different things against a gnarled old pro like Jamie Quinn.
The only times as the journeyman saved the show, John, at the last minute, coming in many times, this type of boxer.
You do get some extraordinary ones, don't you? Remember Tommy Morrison when that guy got up out of the crowd and fought him?
Yeah.
He'd actually had a few beers and he said, "Do you fancy it?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll have a go." Didn't win.
Great journeyman as well from Birmingham, Peter Buckley, a friend of mine. 300 fights, incredible. Just he was back at the drop of a hat. Yeah. Within hours, you know, he'd be there within an hour or whatever.
Fit as a flea. Right hand too low, says the referee. Moving towards the final bell, and no suggestion whatsoever that Jamie Quinn is going to be taken out of there. Proud man who's going to go the distance once again. So you see how hard you can hit me. No doubt hoping that he might just give him an opportunity to land one on the chin in the closing seconds, and like so many journeymen who, as I've said earlier, are not able to fight every other week without having ability. There goes that body shot, and you can see the reaction of Jamie Quinn. Yeah, they often just have those little moments where they can show the ability and show what might have been if they really went in there trying to win the fight.
Well, I think he's been well schooled. As Jamie's, when you look at his style, he's got guards nice and high, he works well behind his jab, he's tough. You know, he earns his money, he's a journeyman definitely, but to come in with just a few hours' notice, he's done the job tonight. With the young prospects about.
Well, we move into the last 10 seconds of the fight, and it's surely going to be a shutout in Jahanzeb's favour. But Jamie Quinn seeing his way through to the final bell, and a little bit of afters, which finally winds up in a good-natured hug.
A bit of frustration there, I think, for Jahanzeb. He couldn't stop his opponent there, and he's probably a little bit frustrated at the end. He's won every round, but I think Jamie Quinn has played his part tonight.
Well, he's usually the Mickey taker, and there's a little bit coming back at him in that department in the final round there. And Jamie Quinn just saying, look, don't take too much out of it. No hard words, nothing really meant. That was a little bit low, and that was where for the first time he said, come on, hit me again.
Yeah, it was a little bit low.
Good-natured banter, I think we could say. Right. I think in a moment we will have our Master of Ceremonies, Thomas Treiber, ready. Robert Smith just handing the referee's deliberation to our MC. How's Marcus McDonald scored it? Richie's got it 6 rounds out of 6 for Amin Jahanzeb. Let's see if Marcus agrees. Here's Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, our referee in charge, Marcus McDonald, scores this contest 60-54 in favor of your winner and still undefeated, Amin Jahanzeb.
The undefeated record extended now to 8. As he moves on, only time will tell whether those skills are going to take him very much further, but now he was too much for Jamie Quinn, who, fair play, was a late substitute and went the distance.
And he never lets anybody down, does Quinn, John, does he? But David, John mentioned the skill factor. Are the skills enough?
Yeah, Jahanzeb seems to have the skills. Unfortunately, obviously with a late notice substitute opponent, he could only be asked so many questions, and I think his style with his quick reflexes and his sharpness will gel against someone really coming to win, throwing big bombs and really loading up. He looks like he's a good counter puncher. Crisp punches, he was slipping and punching real nice, but it's hard to slip a punch that isn't thrown in the direction, so he was having to do an uncharacteristic come forward type of style, and a solid win, won every single moment of every single round. The body assault was nice. I'm sure he'd have loved to have stopped that type of opponent, but sometimes when someone's not giving you the opportunity, all you can do is beat them every round.
What is your scorecard reading on that performance by your new signing?
Well, he won every round. As you say, it was a last-minute opponent, but he didn't get the best out of him for obvious reasons, because he's a journeyman. He's a very well-schooled journeyman who's there, wants to fight every week. With these journeymen, if they get stopped for any reason, then obviously they get suspended. And these guys fight regularly, and the reason they fight so regularly is they're very capable. They've got great ring craft. They know how to look after themselves. So it's a fight that he'll learn from, I hope. But he needs, as David said, he needs guys who are coming onto him, because he basically is a counter puncher. But when he was letting those body shots go in and his jabs, he looked well, but he'll learn from it, and that's what it's all about.
Frank, how does that work with a young prospect like that when, you've got Tunde Ajayi all over the day-to-day development of a young fighter, but you, with all your knowledge and all the years in the business, you've got an idea of the product you want to be seeing and promoting longer term. So is that sometimes a difficult conversation on a Monday when, he's had a great opportunity tonight here to really put on a show? I don't think anybody would claim he's actually done that. So how do you deal with all that?
Well, I've got to be honest with you, it wasn't a bad performance by any measure. As I say, he did what he had to do. You can't do no more. He won every round. So the better performance would have been to stop the guy. And, Quinn's, as I say, he knows his way around. At the end of the day, it's something that you learn from. You come away from there, and on Monday, obviously, we'll have a chat and so forth, and we move him on. But, within probably 4 or 5 fights, he'll be there fighting for a title. And then we'll see what he's learned.
Yeah, well, it's a great time to be a featherweight in Britain, because it's not a deep division, really.
Yeah, but this is all about learning, and this is getting the rounds under your belt and coming through it. And he came through it, but now it's moving up a level. We've got to step him up.
We're moving up a level, certainly, in terms of the main 2 live fights tonight on BT Sport. Anthony Yarde returns tonight against Dec Spelman. But before that, we turn our attention to the British middleweight title eliminator between Mark Heffron and Denzel Bentley. Bentley from Battersea across London, unbeaten in action in the BT Sports studio and really looking the part. 13-0, 11 by stoppage. But Heffron knows how to dish it out. 19 stoppage wins in his 25 victories. The Liam Williams fight is the one that stays in the memory. He has to put that behind him tonight.
Wagwan, my youths. I got this. Overly inflated balloon animal. There's Ricky Martin wannabe. A really